Welcome. My name is Sarah. Today, we gather to celebrate the life of Catherine Elizabeth Marcoux. Catherine was a grandmother, mother, a sister, a friend, and a light in the lives of so many. I hope this video will help you get a complete picture of Catherine's life and family. Catherine's story begins in Ontario and finishes in British Columbia. We will take you through the decades and introduce you to some of her family. Catherine loved hummingbirds. Family members have decided to wear a multicolored hummingbird pin to honor her. Sit back, enjoy, and let's begin. Now over to Kyla.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, I'm Kyla, and I'm going to cover the beginning of Catherine's life, starting with her parents. Then we will journey from Ontario to British Columbia and share some stories from the early years in the Okanagan. Now, a little about her parents. William Eric Capel, Catherine's father, came to Canada from Wales in 1928 at the age of 17. He had a thick Welsh accent and spoke English, though some struggled to understand him. Helen King, Catherine's mother, is a descendant of John Little, who was from the UK. This class photo from 1929 shows Helen King and her siblings and cousins. Catherine's dad found work at the Belleville Hospital, where he fell in love with Helen King. They married on August 30th, 1940. Eric and Helen's love resulted in 6 beautiful children. Catherine, their third child, was born on February 16, 1946, in Belleville, Ontario. Unfortunately, Helen was diagnosed with leukemia. The photo of Eric and Helen was taken a month before she passed away, on November 30th, after her first radiation treatment. Catherine was 6 years old when her mom passed away. Her dad remarried, and this family photo shows her father, siblings, stepmom, and stepbrother. The death of Catherine's mom deeply affected her. Her father purchased a family plot at Melrose Cemetery in Ontario, where he laid his beloved wife to rest. Tragedy struck again, and on October 31st, 1969, Catherine's father died suddenly of a heart attack. He was laid to rest next to his wife. The sudden loss of her father impacted Catherine, and she kept a copy of his obituary. Catherine will be interned later this year in the family plot at the Melrose Cemetery. Catherine moved to Toronto and got a job at Consumers Glass. It was at work, like her father. She found love when she met Daniel Marcoux. While living in Toronto, Dan and Catherine enjoyed life and spent time with friends and family. Catherine's little sister, Valerie, came to live with them for a short time. On May 7, 1968, Dan and Catherine were married in Toronto. Catherine's first son, Daniel Jr., was born on September 1, 1968, in Toronto. In the late 1960s, Consumers Glass decided to open a new glass manufacturing plant in Lavington, BC. The newly married couple and some friends thought it would be a grand adventure to move across Canada and work in the new Consumers Glass plant. So they packed up their stuff and moved to Vernon. Dan and Catherine were happy in Vernon and decided to have a second child. Robert Marcoux was born on October 29, 1970, in Vernon. Dan and Catherine continued to work at Consumers Glass and raised their 2 boys. Dan and Catherine enjoyed various activities, such as camping and bowling. Catherine was a good bowler, and was crowned Bowler of the Week on several occasions. Catherine was sentimental and kept mementos, such as a newspaper article about achieving Bowler of the Week and pins she was awarded. Dan and Catherine enjoyed their life in Vernon and bought a house on 38th Avenue. They became friends with the neighbours, like Jack and Margit Schratter. Jack and Margit had 2 boys, Michael and Edward, about the same age as Dan Jr. and Robert. The boys became lifelong friends, and 50 years later, 2 generations of the Schratter family mourn the passing of Catherine.
What can I say? Relationships can be difficult at the best of times. Dan and Catherine moved across the country and had no family support to help them out. Despite these challenges, they were able to buy a house in Vernon, build a life, go camping, and love their boys. In the summer of 1975, Dan and Catherine decided to go their separate ways. The end of one relationship led to the beginning of a new relationship. The next section will cover expanding the family. Now back over to Sarah.
Catherine met Bill Holt in 1976. Bill had 2 daughters, Roma and Marianne. Bill and Catherine were married on January 17, 1981, and her family continued to grow. Catherine became a grandmother on April 12, 1990, when Daniel's son, Marcoux, was born. Roma's daughter Andrea was born on December 27, 1991. The third grandbaby arrived on April 24, 1993, when Roma's second daughter, Terrelaine, was born. When Catherine became a grandmother, she was embraced with a love unlike any other. Their laughter, their hugs, their joy became some of the greatest treasures of her life. Robert Marcoux married Jennifer Long, and they have 3 children, Delano, Simone, and Meredith. Being a grandmother was one of Catherine's greatest joys. She poured her love into every stitch of the dresses she sewed for her granddaughters, every batch of cookies she baked with care, and every moment spent playing, laughing, and creating memories with her 6 beloved grandchildren. Through her caring hands and generous heart, she taught them that love is made of small moments, crafted with patience and joy. Her legacy lives on in their laughter, their creativity, and the warmth they carry forward. Terrelaine married Michael, which added another branch to the family tree. A great-grandbaby blessed Catherine's heart when Atlas was born on September 15, 2023. In every smile, every tiny hand she held, Catherine saw the beautiful continuation of her family's story and her own enduring legacy of love. Catherine loved animals and had many fur babies over her lifetime. There are too many to mention, but the most recent pets were Tiffy, Molly, Dolly, and Peter. The family is thankful that Andrea adopted Tiffy. Peter went to live with Catherine's friend Tara, and Catherine's brother Barry adopted Molly and Dolly. We hope all of Catherine's fur babies are settling in at their new homes. I am sure they miss her as much as we do. Now back over to Sarah for some final words.
Thanks, Kyla. I hope you enjoyed this brief video about Catherine and her family. On behalf of the Marcoux family, we thank you for taking the time to honor and remember Catherine Elizabeth Marcoux with us today. Your kind words, warm memories, and heartfelt condolences bring us comfort during this time of loss. Catherine's spirit lives on, in every story shared, every smile remembered, and every act of love we carry forward. Thank you for being part of her beautiful journey.